rambling thought about the process I'm going through with the portrait series. So I'm creating this portrait series with people that have inspired me, that are inspiring me, that I find extraordinary. And funny enough, my friend Laureen 2 days ago is like, yeah, but I'm not extraordinary. And I'm like, each and every one of us is fucking extraordinary. And in my world, a person who is extraordinary is a person who dares to just go against everything that has been taught to them, or all the boxes that maybe they created for themselves or that people have created for them and everything. And basically people who dare, people who are audacious, people who dare to just be themselves, express themselves, and just say the things or do the things as they want them to be done. For me, people, this is what extraordinary is. So all of us, we are born like this, I really believe that, because we all have something very, very special to share, to create. And this is what really life is about for me, to experience ourselves, to experience what it is that we actually want to contribute and put onto the table. Just like having food. When everybody brings their own food, it's like, okay, you're bringing this thing that you made with love, your heart and everything. Anyways, I'm going through this process, and it's been 4 portraits that I've done so far, that I've recorded. So I cannot tell you the amount of rush that I have. Is too much. Like, I think for each and every person, I have 70 gigabytes of movies. And it's I love it, but the process of going through it's gonna be like interessant. And then the very first one I did with Laureen was very spontaneous. Like, I was super excited of meeting her, going through her day, taking my camera, we have the microphones, and I just film everything and nothing, because it's like, it's vlog. We just share, even whatever happens, we just fucking film it. So it was very spontaneous, and funny enough, nothing was prepared. No questions, no protocol, no what is it that you want to share and everything. And comes the second one, like, I came home and I was just so happy. It really felt like it was a bubble. I swear to you, from like 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. we stayed together, we did live together, and it was really just like recording a normal conversation that I have with her. And I know that with this person I'm able to go deep, to explore and everything. And I'm fortunate enough that I have these beautiful humans in my life where I have the capacity to do that. And this is sort of like the level of our dynamic. I'm in the park going uphill. That's why the panting, and also I'm sick. Why the fuck am I doing this? Anyways, so it's already a base of, it's fine, it's just us. And my friend Camille just said it beautifully. It's like, oh, you're just gonna immortalize our regular conversations. And I was like, yes, just with my camera and my microphones, and that's it. But comes the second one, I realize how precious it is to have someone tell you their stories. And I start putting myself so much pressure as to, but I need to make sure that I, don't waste their time or capture the right thing, like ask the right questions and extract the juice of them, so I can just, I have this really grand vision for this portrait. The more I do it, the more I'm like, oh my God, I really imagine this. I'm not gonna say it yet because I don't want to jinx it, but I sort of like really have big plans for this project, and what started as an assignment from my coach is really turning into something that I really want to do seriously, and I'm not even thinking about any financial purse or anything like this, but more like I really want to put the time, the energy, the resources into it and really do it well, right? Because of these dreams that I have. And if I remember, I had this idea already like back in 2020, and I did it with what I had and my friend Timothy, really helped me. We did one portrait and he was like, yeah, I know how many passion projects you have and I love you for that and stuff. So that's why you helped me. And again, 6 years later, fast forward, here I am finally having the time and the space to do it. And I'm like, vas-y, go full for it, you know? I'm really the type of person who's like, go hard or go hard. There's no going home. It's like you either do it 100% or you don't do it. And anyways, I go back into this process for the second portrait where I have a brief. I share it with my guest, which is my friend, Marie, and she answers back and already has all these bullet points, which I absolutely love because it helped me, you know, throughout the day. It helped me cover all the points that we wanted. And I didn't have any questions prepared or anything. I was just like, all right, I'll just make sure to, you know, create the right transitions from one topic to another. And the questions will come by the grace of God or from my ass. I don't know, but we'll figure it out, right? Everything happens really great, really perfect. I go home and I'm like, eh, c'est bien ça, you know, you managed to be and spontaneous and structured, and we got a lot from Marie, genre vraiment trop cool quoi. And then comes the portrait of Hafsa during the weekend in Norway. And this was again back to spontaneous, you know. And I was like, putain, mais c'est génial en fait. That's it, you know. And I think that I was also just like lack of sleep, and I didn't prepare this one because I told her about my idea and she was like, oh yeah, I'm in. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. So she was just so fucking open that I was like, vas-y, let's go. And also it's in the middle of her event. I didn't really want to bother because she had stuff to do. She's the organizer and also teacher. I just wanted to be an extension of her during her days, etc., etc. But then when I look at the few videos I captured and the moments that we had, I'm like, oh my God, I feel great. I really feel proud. I really feel great. I really feel like fulfilled, you know. And as much as it takes a lot of energy, you know, to hold the camera, to ask the questions, to pay attention, you know, this is where I'm like, all right, how much do we really pay attention to what everybody else is telling us? You know, when we have conversations, it's like, how present are you to the person's stories, you know, whether through a portrait series or even like on a day-to-day basis talking with a friend or a parent or anything. It's like it takes time and energy, you know. And I am like that. I'm like, if I'm with you, I am with you. I'll listen to every fucking word you say and we'll pay attention to the words that you say, right? And to the stories and everything. So I'm able to just be there for you, you know. Anyways, I go home. Monday comes. This is like a couple of days ago. I go back to Laurine because I'm like, oh, I would love to explore that topic with you. What do you say? She's like, yeah, okay, fine, perfect. And what happens here? I'm like so obsessed with, I want this to be right, that I just start literally reading my questions. And thanks God I was able to, you know, just move from one thing to another. But I felt we both felt it. Like we felt the awkward silences, and it's like, okay, so how do we go about this, you know? And we talked about it like openly, and I said I take feedback because again, this is the very first time that I'm doing this, and it's only been 4 portraits, so bring it on, you know. We felt it, and we have that level of friendship where we just tell each other everything with honesty. But yeah, you know, I left and I was like, this actually took me even more energy than I thought, because I was reading my questions, because I sort of like stopped listening to what she said during the process, because I was like, yeah, but I want to go there as well, and I want to just make sure that I cover everything because I don't want to take too much of her time. But it made us both, I think, tired, even though like what I got is really just beautiful. Like she was so natural, and for someone who is not comfortable being under the camera and being the center of attention, she did so brilliantly. But yeah, the process was somewhat, you know, And then comes Tuesday. Yesterday I started with Camille, ma petite d'amour et de go fraîche. And I feel it instantly in my body. We were both seated on the couch, and then I'm like, tell me, how do I introduce this? Like, you know, it was way less natural. And at some point I think I was just so fucking in my head that I was like, okay, je peux pas, you know. And I was feeling anyways the fever and the cough and everything, so we stopped. And now that I think of it, it's funny, but it's not funny. My batteries were charged, okay? The camera batteries were charged. And now I think of it, I'm like, they always kept stopping after 10 minutes, which never happens. And now I see it, I'm like, well, maybe. Okay, I spared you the seesaw, whatever. But maybe this was literally a sign of like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, this is not going anywhere. Stop it right now. Just enjoy the coffee with your friend, and you're gonna do it some other time because you're too stressed, you're too nervous, you're too wanting to do this perfectly, right? So I'm walking and I remember this. I'm like, bah oui, I swear to you, every fucking 10 minutes. And then we went to her place because I wanted to shoot some other, you know, have some B-roll and everything of her apartment. And at least that, you know, if I had to do something right, it was at least that. And then we go there and she does tarot reading. And funny enough, one of the cards that I picked, I don't know anything about tarot, right? I'm just discovering, but it was so fucking on point with the 3 cards. And one of them was the Le Battler, you know. And this card was literally saying, hey, stop rehearsing and start fucking doing, you know. The more you rehearse, the more you procrastinate, basically. So just fucking do the thing, be more in the flow, and that's it. And I was like, oh, on fucking point. So really this process is so fucking interesting because it's like, yeah, it is interesting. Moving from one thing to another, being flexible enough, adjusting, readjusting, and I think really most important, like leaving the ego out of it, where it's like, no, but this means that I suck and whatever. I really don't have that anymore. I'm really into this thing as in like, all right, change course. You went straight, okay, let's try to the right side, okay, let's try to the left side of it. It's like almost, you know, putting un tableau. Where it's really like putting a decoration up, you know, where you want it to be sort of straight, balanced, équilibré, and you're finding your way. So you're juggling a bit to the right, you're juggling a bit to the left, and I'm really taking this whole process like this, even with the podcast, you know. And I've been hearing a lot of feedback from you guys, which I really super appreciate. And it's again really being in that process of not betraying myself. Donc voilà, today I'm really leaving you with this, with the process, with focusing on what feels good, on not necessarily always having fucking strategies for everything and nothing. I think going back to this idea I shared a few episodes ago, you create your own life book, okay? You get inspiration from others who've created their own life books and guidebooks and whatever, but just make sure that whatever you do, whoever you are, you just focus on your own guidebook and on doing and being and embodying like what really feels good to you.